Good morning, I'm Kristen Folletti and welcome to News Desk on SiliconAngle TV for Wednesday, April 17th, 2013. Here's your SiliconAngle Daily Roundup. How does the tech industry feel about the U.S. Senate's immigration reform bill? The answer? Cautiously optimistic. The bipartisan group of senators known as the Gang of Eight released an outline of the bill. Many of the concerns raised by technology groups seem to have been addressed. Most of these alliances, like Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg's FDW.US group, are withholding comments until the full draft of the bill is released. Of particular interest to the tech industry is the new merit visa. The top item on most technology companies' immigration wish lists is to allow more highly skilled workers in the country, and according to the outline, the merit visa does just that. The bill also proposes an increase in the number of green cards offered. Some technology company officials have expressed doubt about the bill, citing the provisions that allow for greater scrutiny on companies that hire foreign workers. With the limited information available, most tech companies feel like this bill, which has the potential to be the most dramatic overhaul to U.S. immigration law in more than a quarter century, is a step in the right direction. With Facebook's latest push in the mobile market, it's no surprise that they've been hiring developers. And their latest hire is a special one, former Apple manager Richard Williamson. In his 10-year stay at Apple, Williamson was handpicked by Steve Jobs to build software for the original iPhone. Later in his career at Apple, he was put in charge of efforts to replace Google Maps. Unfortunately, the push to beat Google Maps was unsuccessful, and it eventually led to Richard being released from Apple last November. For Facebook, the management shakeup by Apple couldn't have come at a better time. In an attempt to increase their role in the mobile market, Mark Zuckerberg and company have been picking up quite a few Apple employees, including several managers, designers, and software engineers. Zuckerberg has even been hiring employees that extend beyond product creation, including Apple's former director of marketing. Whatever Facebook plans to do with all these Apple additions is still somewhat in the air, but one thing's for sure, Zuckerberg's got his eye on the right places for talented employees. Today, Google will hear the first real-world usage figures for their Chromebook, and it doesn't look good for the device many people were calling a Windows killer. In their first week of monitoring, Net Market Share reported that worldwide usage of Chromebooks take up less than 1% of web traffic. The number of users was actually so low that Chrome OS didn't even earn a place on the report. To be fair, the early numbers should come as no surprise, as a slow launch could be the reason for the low numbers. After all, the first Chromebooks sold fewer than 10,000 units in the first 6 months. The real surprise comes from the fact that Chromebooks have been out for nearly 2 years, and they topped Amazon's best-selling list for laptops last winter. Despite their growth, Chromebooks still haven't broken 1% of the laptop market share. With such poor showing after 2 years, it should be interesting to see how Google reacts to these numbers. A growing lineup of Google's Windows killers is likely to increase Chrome OS usage in the coming months. The number of companies agreeing to pay Microsoft for every Android device they manufacture is growing. Han-He, the world's largest contract manufacturer and parent company of Apple device maker Foxconn, is the latest company to sign up for Microsoft's Android licensing program. Analysts suspect that the Redmond-based technology company generates more revenue from handsets with Google's Android OS than it does from sales of Windows Phone. The list of companies that have signed up to pay Microsoft for the right to manufacture Android devices includes Samsung, LG, HTC, Acer, and Barnes & Noble. Windows 8 touch devices will be joining Amazon's Kindle Fire and Google's Nexus 7 in the lucrative $200 tablet sector. Executives at Intel are predicting the price drop of Windows 8 tablets due to advances in processor chips. Intel's upcoming quad-core Bay Trail chip is expected to get the affordable line of Atom chips closer to mainstream Intel chip performance. Intel CEO Paul Otellini commented on the chips during the company's first quarter earnings conference, saying Bay Trail is going to be a great product in that the segment of the market and enables stunning performance relative to what the competition can bring. The Bay Trail chip is expected in products for the holiday season. This morning, Yahoo reported their first quarter performance, and the latest numbers are coming as a bit of a surprise. With many speculators expecting a drop in revenue, analysts were excited by an overperformance of roughly $30 million by Yahoo. On top of that, the company noted their yearly income is up, rising nearly $20 million in the past quarter. However, it's not all good news. Both their display revenue and search revenue have dropped since this time last year. To overcome their changes in revenue, Yahoo's new CEO, Marissa Mayer, has been shifting their business model from the desktop to mobile devices by buying companies with a strong mobile presence like Sumly. This change in strategy has come at a cost, though. Yahoo's cash on hand has dropped from over $2.5 billion to almost less than $1 billion. Twitter is moving closer to its goal of becoming your web TV source by incorporating ads on its hosted videos. We reported yesterday that Twitter was in talks with Viacom to begin hosting television content on the social media platform, and last night they subtly revealed their next step in the process towards multimedia domination. Coca-Cola ads ran before game replays tweeted from the official NCAA March Madness account. Twitter's goal is to make it so that when content owners put short video on Twitter, a sponsor would pay to promote the content. Then Twitter and the content owners share the revenue. In order to lure sponsors into joining their efforts, we previously reported that Twitter had teamed up with Bluefin, who analyzes TV content viewed by Twitter users to ensure ads are specifically targeted to those watching them. The slow rollout of Twitter's new monetization scheme will be closely followed as they strive towards becoming your primary source for video. In related news, Time Warner Cable is adding live out-of-home programming to its TWC TV app, which will allow customers to watch TV shows from their Apple devices. Beginning tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, Time Warner will make as many as 11 live national news, sports, and entertainment channels available outside the home. In addition to some local channels, customers will have access to the Big Ten Network, the Pac-12 Network, the TV Guide Network, and BBC America. Programming will be available for Apple's iPad, iPad mini, iPhone, and iPod Touch devices. With this initiative, Time Warner is following in the footsteps of Comcast and DirecTV in giving customers certain live and on-demand content through their mobile apps. This marks part of a cable industry shift towards a concept known as TV Everywhere, where subscribers can watch television in any location with a wireless connection. After a delay yesterday, Funny or Die's Steve Jobs movie, I, Steve, has been released online. The movie stars Justin Long as Steve Jobs and Los Jorge Garcia as Steve Wozniak. The film is the longest video produced by Funny or Die, with a runtime of nearly 80 minutes. The script for the film was written in just 3 days and filmed in only 5. The filmmakers have joked that the film may not be the best Steve Jobs movie, but that it will be the first. Other filmmakers are rushing to debut their own films to commemorate the lost icon. A film titled Jobs, starring Ashton Kutcher, is set to debut this year, and Sony Pictures is making an Aaron Sorkin-written film based on the Steve Jobs biography by Walter Isaacson. And that's your SiliconAngle Daily Roundup for Wednesday, April 17th, 2013. For continuous coverage on tech innovation and daily breaking analysis, join us mornings beginning at 8:30 a.m. Central here at News Desk on SiliconAngle TV.